Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Christy Collings and today I am doing a Halloween makeup tutorial on Wonder Woman comic inspired makeup. Okay, let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is use a full coverage foundation so that everything looks that really flat, matte, heavily covered, kind of like a comic book. So you're going to want everything to look very theatrical, and so whatever you have for your thickest cover foundation, go ahead and start with that. I'm going to apply the foundation with a stipple brush. That way it's going to really help matte the skin and blend it perfectly as we go. Okay, next up you're going to want to prime your eyelid, same as you would for any makeup application, and just carry it all the way down from your lash line up to your brow bone. Moving into the eye makeup, we're going to go ahead and use a lot of neutral tones in your palette. I'm just going to use a nice shell color for my lid. I'm going to have like a soft brown crease, and then you're really going to bring the look to life when you are using your eyeliner. Okay, so we have our soft pearly color right along our eyelid. Now I'm going to move into some nice warm browns for my crease. You just want the eye to appear very open and bright. And we're going to really sharpen our crease out when we get into our eyeliner, because we're going to do a double lid eyeliner. And you can carry a little bit of this brown color ever so softly right underneath your lash line as well. Okay, so now we're going to move into our eyeliner. So the first thing you're going to want to do is use your black, I'm using a cake eyeliner, fluid line, and black track from MAC. And so you're just going to follow your lash line and wing it out right on the bottom. So just a traditional cat eye. So your first cat eye is going to be complete on both eyes. I'm going to move into a second cat eye just above the crease, but before I do that, I'm going to pack it with some really bright pigment. So I'm going to be using this awesome bronze color. It's going to help pull in the gold from when we start to work into our headpiece towards the end of this look. So we're just going to place this right on your lower lash line. So for your second cat eye, you're going to want to do it right in your crease. I prefer to do it a little bit above the crease, so it just kind of looks super, super overdone and artistic, which is the look that we're going for. Having a really steady hand, you just want to follow the actual arc of your natural brow bone. Okay, so once you have your double cat eye, you're going to really want to emphasize your brows. I'm going to be using black to trace them out and make them just look very comic. Okay, so we're going to be moving into the trickiest part of this makeup application, in my opinion. So we're going to be using white paint. You can use anything that's clay-based or some white eyeliners, although they tend to crack. So I'm going to go with this white acrylic paint for face and body, and I'm going to be applying it with a sharp lip brush. So you're going to want to be doing a little bit of a reverse cat eye on the inner corner of your eye, and you're just going to extend it ever so slightly right where it starts to bend, and then whip it right around underneath your lash line. You don't want any white to be on the upper part. You want everything to kind of emphasize underneath. So just going to be a little diamond shape. And then you're just going to create that on the other side. Okay, so after you have your white highlights coming in on either eye, you're going to want to trace those with a black liquid liner. I prefer this to using the angle brush and the black paint pot as I did earlier, because this is going to have like a really bright effect and it's going to just sharpen everything out. So you just definitely are starting to look very sketched at this point. And then I'm just connecting this underneath my lash line, just so it starts to kind of feed into your waterline a little. Okay, so we went ahead and switched our gear out so we can move you guys in a little bit closer so you can see a lot of the detail shots that are going to come together now. So as you can see, I have my eyes. The highlight of the white is completed. We went ahead and traced it with some black liquid liner. And now to just really emphasize this look and finish off our eyes, I'm going to add some bold eyelashes. Always when using strip lashes, you want to go ahead and muddy up the lash line so that when you lay it along your lashes, it'll look like a seamless application. So I'm just taking my black liner and my angle brush, and then I'm just painting, literally coating right along the lash line. And so it'll be a seamless track. Okay, so once you have your eyes completed, you're gonna start moving into your sketch process. So before we get there, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of blush. So now this is where it's gonna get super exciting. We're gonna get started with our face sketching. So I'm gonna be using the Makeup Forever Professional palette, and I'm gonna be using this black color with a very, very long bristle angle brush, because that's just gonna help everything look super, super smooth and seamless. Okay, so the things that we're going to be carving out is our cheekbones. We're gonna be tracing along our jawline from ear to ear, and then we're going to be doing some detailing on the nose and the frown lines. So already you can kind of start to see the face coming to life. Okay, so when carving out your cheekbones, you want to go ahead and take it from your high point all the way through your hollow, stopping just short of halfway through your eye. So when you bring it down, it should kind of trace right along here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be seating my application just a little bit above my actual curve so that you'll be able to see this at all angles through the night. I'm going to be going from right along my lower earlobe area, tracing straight across from ear to ear. I am making the jawline a little bit thicker than my other sketch lines because typically in a comic drawing, this is going to be one of the features that's a little bit more of an outline sketched. I'm just going to be adding one line, tracing on the outside, and a very, very small half line right along the opposite side. My first line is going to have a little curve. You can hook it all the way around to be a circle, or you can just have a little half curve, which is what I'm going to aim for. And on the other side, I'm just going to balance it out with a very, very small half line. So once you have your nose completed, you're going to go ahead and give a little bit of like dimension and character coming through the brows. So I like adding some little furrow lines. Do I look sinister?
No.
So after you have your frown lines, I like to kind of just add two little ones right down here underneath my lips. Underneath my nose, above my lips. Back to our white, which this ends up being a product that I use a lot more than I thought I would the day I bought it. On the chin, you just want to make kind of like a little half moon, but I like to drag it out a tiny bit more, just right above where the actual ball of your chin is. Coming in on the white, I'm just going to add a little bit of a little half circle right on the top of my nose. This is a little tricky because you're going to be doing black and red. You want to make sure that it looks definitely like you were drawn, so everything's going to be traced in black, but before we outline it in black, we're going to make sure that we fill in our lips nice and full and red. So I am going to use a liner. Couple different ways you can line your lips. You can use like a crown pencil, an eyeliner. You can go ahead back in with an angle brush, or if you're feeling super steady-handed, you can use your liquid liner. All three are going to work and give you kind of the same look. The liquid liner is going to definitely be a little bit more precise and defined. You can see how much sharper the liquid liner looks versus a felt tip liner. I prefer the liquid. It's just way trickier to work with. It's coming together. This is where it gets so tricky. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about doing this part on film. So you take your black liquid liner and we're gonna kind of extend the lips out ever so slightly in the corners. If I mess up, I'm completely pausing this and fixing it and then coming back. 2 tips. Keep this line very, very thin, and you want it to be at an upward angle because you don't want her to look too sinister. You still want her to be like an approachable heroine, but this is going to give a little bit of a sexy edge. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the same white visual high points onto the lips. This is going to be what makes it look like really glossy and gives it like a little bit of a dimensional look. Oddly, I feel like this is the one feature that makes this whole face look very comic-y, as if I wasn't there already. Okay, so now that the face is pretty much done, we're going to finish it off with our headpiece. So I've seen a few people that have done this look that go ahead and purchase a headpiece for it. I like keeping everything very two-dimensional and flat so that it kind of keeps with the comic vibe. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Makeup Forever palette again, and I'm going to dip into my gold. Any water-soluble gold paint works for this metallic, but I really love the application of this one. Once you have your headpiece on, I'm going to muddy it up a little bit so that it doesn't look so stark and painted on. So I'm just going to fade my black into the gold, just kind of making some swoop motions with my brush. But it's just softening the line. Taking that black that's still on your brush, I'm going to go ahead and kind of give the illusion that this is arced around my head. So I'm just going to kind of add a little bit more dark feathering to the sides. I have tried it a few different ways where I did it starless, one where I drew on my star, and I think what I like the best for my placement is to add an embellishment. It just looked really sharp and kind of gave like a little bit of a fun factor to the look. Okay, so once you have your headpiece on, your embellishment's been glued on, I'm just going to kind of come through and make everything have a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to be coming back into my brow palette, and I'm going to just grab some taupes and browns, and I'm just going to add it to that A-frame that I had right at the curve of either side of my forehead. This is optional, but you've come so far, so why stop now? Using a flat brush, I'm gonna just kind of come in with this taupe color just right underneath there and just add a little bit of a hue of a shadow. And I'm just going to kind of carve out right on either side of my neck, a little bit for the collarbone and maybe like a little neckline. Essentially, this is your finished look. I'm going to use my own hair, and I'm just going to spray it with some spray from Halloween store. Okay guys, so I've spray painted my hair black, which I think gives a total perfect finishing touch for this look. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome Halloween.